Do guys feel the same emotions that we do in terms of breakups? Or like, how do they process? Do they miss us?
Being married to Sebas, I learned he doesn't show his emotions a lot, but it doesn't mean he doesn't feel them.
We were together for 2 years. You're treating me like I'm a stranger. I was a stranger to him. He was so cold to me through text.
I have been with my current partner for 5 years now. Year 1, my parents gave me an ultimatum.
I was still in school. I was completely dependent on my parents financially. My mom wanted someone in ministry. She wanted a pastor's kid for me.
Hello?
Hey,
Hi.
how's it going?
Good, thank you.
Good, what's up? What questions do you have?
Why don't guys think about things that their partner likes? You're constantly like having to, like, you don't want to tell the guy what you want.
I mean, I think it depends on the guy's character. For
Yeah.
example, Sebas, he's not very thoughtful.
Girl, you put me in a tricky
I know,
situation.
for real. You're blasting him off. So, for example, let's say it's my birthday, right? He's not someone who's like, oh, surprise me with a birthday present. He's gonna be like, oh, so what do you want? You get me? So I think it has to do with a lot of like the guy's personality, because you have a friend who is super thoughtful with his wife. Why do you think that is? That is a good question. I would
Yeah,
like
so
to know that
I'll
too.
give you, now that I got some time to think about it. So this is what I'll say. A lot of times a man, especially in the beginning of a relationship, the man wants to impress the girl, right? So the man is going to go out of his way to do things he normally wouldn't do. And that's normal, to present his best clothing, his best attitude, attentive, his best haircut. You guys get the point, both physically and also emotionally as a partner, to impress you. So I think, have you noticed that in the beginning of relationships, a man would go out of his way to give you flowers, maybe even cook for you, do all these special things. And then because that's what the girl wants. Every girl wants that.
Yeah.
But then we kind of slip into routine. And once that barrier of entry is already there, once we already have access to the girl, whether we're dating, whether, we're boyfriend and girlfriend, we're seeing each other.
Yeah, you stop trying.
Then
That's horrible.
This is a common thing.
Yeah, that's horrible.
And the reason why this happens is, I feel like, because the man in the beginning has to try so much more, right? In the sense of we have to make sure that we're on point, that our conversation is flowing. We got the flowers, we open the door for you, close the door, etc. And then routine happens, and it's not always gonna be like that. So I think it's also a matter of putting realistic expectations, and you can communicate to the guy, hey, listen, this is what I like. This is what makes me feel more appreciative. This is what makes me feel special. And then that's up to the guy to actually put effort. But I'll tell you, I'm being honest with you. Most men in the beginning, they'll do things they normally wouldn't do just to impress you. Does that make sense?
But what if you tell your man that you want to go to, okay, I'm Hispanic, so I like bailes. I like to dance. I like
Oh,
to
nice.
dance.
Okay.
There you go.
He doesn't see the point of like paying to go to a baile. But where are you gonna go to a baile, like, that you're not gonna pay for like bandas like all night?
Oh, nice. Well, I mean, in a relationship,
And it's just something that I like.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
to do something.
yeah, I mean, I do stuff I don't like all the time for Sebas, and he does it for me. I mean, you just have to tell him, like, oh, yeah, I would like to enjoy this with you. Like, come with me. But he still doesn't do it, even regardless that you tell him.
Maybe like once or twice a year, but I like to dance.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you can also force him to like an activity that he doesn't like, but at least if he shows some that he's willing to go once in a while, I mean, that's good enough.
I mean, he can compromise. I think it's a matter of maybe
¿Quieres
he
un
probably doesn't
bailarín?
even dance, right? You want a little Latin lover to take you out and bam bam bam, show you all the moves, right? I guess for your birthday, right? It could be like a very special occasion where he kind of can't say no because it's your special day. So maybe those you can take
Right?
you can take advantage of those dates to be like, hey, you know what? We're going dancing today. And then you can kind of set the expectation beforehand, like, hey, my birthday's coming up. Get ready, because this is what we're gonna do for my day. How's that?
You know what? That's perfect.
Yeah. Or an anniversary. The chat is saying, chat, give us ideas. Anniversary, birthdays, any special occasion where the guy can't really
Say no.
He's kind of pushed into it.
It's do it or do it.
There you go.
there
Yeah.
you go.
And I'm sure you have to do things also for him that he likes that maybe you don't do. So it's normal. That happens in every relationship.
Thank you so much.
You got it. Okay, so any other questions or we move on to our next one?
You can move on to your next
Okay, all right, girlie. Thank you for calling in. Have a great day. Hey, how are you? Thanks for calling in. What's up? How can we help?
My boyfriend, or my ex-boyfriend, right? He broke up with me January. And I guess my question is, do guys feel the same emotions that we do in terms of breakups? Or like, how do they process? Do they miss us? How long does it take? Do they get over us quicker?
That's
Things like that.
that's a good question. Yeah. So guys and girls don't process emotions the same at all. And I would even dare to say that it's sometimes even harder for guys than it could be for girls.
Yeah.
But the guy won't necessarily show emotion as a girl would. So for instance,
I mean, I've learned that, like, being married to Sebas, I learned that he doesn't show his, at least Sebas, because, maybe you have a guy who's a little bit more sensitive. He doesn't show his emotions a lot, but it doesn't mean he doesn't feel them. You get what I'm saying? Like there's sometimes that he's sad and he won't express that he's sad, and then, oh, I've been sad lately. I'm like, oh, I didn't notice. You get me? So I feel like sometimes guys, they're harder to read because some of them are very internal. I think it depends on the guy when they break up, but I think
I'll help you, babe. I got this. I think men in general, like, if we show too much emotion, just in general things in life, we don't get the same like pass as a girl would. Like if a guy shows too much emotion, then he's deemed as weak. He's deemed as immature, right? He's seen maybe wimpy. We're taught, and we have to be more stoic in how we handle our emotion. But it doesn't mean that he's not gonna feel that he wants to call you, he misses you. But he has to kind of suck it up. And I would even dare to say that most men sometimes, when breakups happen, can feel a lot more emotions than women, because it is easier for a woman to kind of date, in the sense that a man has to kind of build himself up to then go ahead and get another girl, versus a woman can just kind of, obviously get over the guy, but I'm sure there's already three other DMs, three other text messages that a woman has easily access to of men that were already waiting for her in the line. Like, men don't have that type of access in the dating market. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I guess I'm still stuck because I did see him unexpectedly at
you ran
like
into
a
him?
restaurant.
Oh.
And how was that?
Yo como boba, like I decide to go inside and I just freeze.
Oh, you
But
froze?
he just leaves. He leaves the restaurant.
Oh, he doesn't say anything to
And
you?
no, he
Oh.
literally avoided me. And so I'm just like, we were together for 2 years, and now you're treating me like I'm a stranger. And we left it off as like I was a stranger to him. He was so cold to me through text.
And why did you guys break
so-
up? Just out of curiosity.
Where or when?
No, why?
I think I was a little toxic, but
What did you
I
do?
think that's
What did
just
you
me
do,
blaming-
girlie?
That's just me. That's just me blaming myself too, I think. But I got really drunk that night, and I think just everything spilled out of me because I've been feeling, I don't know, just like different emotions, I guess, being in the relationship, and I felt like he wasn't putting in the effort that I wanted.
Yeah.
Emotionally or needed, because in the beginning he was, like you were talking about, he was putting in the effort. He was trying to pursue me. He was, taking me out on dates. I don't know, just putting in effort.
Yeah.
And at some point it just kind of switched, or like I felt that he was pushing away.
Yeah.
And so it's like the anxious avoidant attachment that's so common.
Yeah. I mean, and what happened in particular? What did you do? You got drunk, and then what happened? Like, you guys had a massive fight, or what?
Yeah, he came home, like we were supposed to cook dinner, and that was his way of putting in that effort, I think.
Yeah.
And I feel so bad because he's coming home with the groceries, all excited for our date, and then I'm just a mess, crying, so emotional, and I just pour everything out.
Yeah.
And he's like, where is this all coming from?
Yeah.
And so of course we didn't have the date, we didn't cook, we didn't bond.
That's a huge thing for men. The fact that he's out there doing groceries, working
Yeah.
hard. What a man wants, and this I'll say to everybody, what a man wants when he goes home to his girl, to his wife, is to have peace in the house. That's the number one thing a man just wants. We just want to go home and have peace. We're already dealing with enough stress. We're like battling a war out there. We're doing business. We're trying to make money. We're getting, rejected in the job and interview. We lost a client or whatever, right? We're trying to make it work. We're trying to hustle. We're trying to improve ourselves. The last thing you want is to go home after you had a long day and not find peace. That's why men will use work and become workaholics, because they would rather stay at work than come back home to a nagging girlfriend or a nagging wife. So what happened to you, girlie, was he shut down. I can't find peace in this house, right? And did this happen often? Like, was this an occurring thing for you guys?
Yeah, we were having like little arguments here and there, and he would try to connect, and then I wasn't connecting with him, and vice versa.
Yeah.
Also, I had some, like, he knew that I didn't like his mom, and I don't know, it was just a lot of things.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. Yeah.
Los suegros are a huge issue.
Yeah.
No, what I can say is that I remember 2 occasions. I've been with Tess for 12 years, and I remember 2 occasions where he kind of shut down on me. Man, like, maybe they don't express like how they like Sebas doesn't express. He's not very sentimental, if he's sad, if he's happy, like he's just very like normal, very stable in his emotions.
I have to deal with it.
Okay, so I do remember that when we started dating, I've always said this, that I had a past relationship that wasn't the healthiest, right? And sometimes when you don't heal and then you bring it into the new relationship, you act in a way, the way you used to act with your past relationship, with this new relationship, without the person giving you any reason to, right? And I remember that I guess I was driving Sebas a little bit crazy at that time. We were also very young. We were in our early 20s, we were still a little bit mature. And I remember that he started to be very cold with me. And I started to notice that he started to be cold with me. So it's like he turned his emotions off like this.
Yeah.
And when I noticed that, I had to sit him down and I had to tell him, oh yeah, like, either you forgive me for my actions, like, look, I'm changing. It's been months of me changing, or this is not gonna work out, because you cannot be closed off to me emotionally. Like, we're dating, we're a couple. So I had to like sit him down and tell him, like, are you gonna open up to me again? So it's happened twice, or like, I don't remember the other time, but I remember it happened again. Oh, with the thing with your parents, the same thing happened.
So let me give you the best.
Explain that to him.
Yeah.
To her.
So let me tell you the best.
Wait, I just want to say one more. I just want to, before you guys go on to this too, I wish I said those exact same words as you, because I feel like he came home, right? And I immediately kind of just attacked him.
Yeah.
Like, you're not doing this. You're this is this. And instead I should have said, like, I feel like you're pushing away.
There, yeah. You acted like
I need you to trust me.
You acted like you were on defense mode.
Yeah.
So instead of you like telling him, oh yeah, I noticed you're being distant with me, you just went ham on him, which I understand. Sometimes insecurities and stuff make us react. But yeah, that's probably what happened. I'm gonna tell you, if Sebas would have shut off, like turned off, right? Let's say he turned off the light emotionally. That's why he treats you like you're nothing, because he completely turned off the emotional side toward you.
The best illustration that I can give you when it comes to a man's emotion in a fighting relationship with his girl is, imagine a boxing match. In any boxing match, you have 2 people on each side of the ring. You have your guard up, right? The moment that you get hit in the face with a jab and your opponent starts hitting you, what are you gonna do? You're gonna immediately put that guard up really tight in your face, and you're gonna begin to back away from the other person. And this is the same thing that happens emotionally. The man is going to, just like in boxing, put his guard up and start backing away from you.
Yeah.
From the moment that you stop punching, the guard begins to go down again. That's the best illustration I could give you. And the best advice I can give you is learn to know when to kind of approach, but then also know when to back out from the fighting.
At the end of the day, it's all about communication. Like for me, I tell Sebas a lot, like, we've been together for 12 years, right? So I tell him, like, you have confianza. You've been together so long that there should be nothing that you shouldn't be able to tell your spouse or your partner. So sometimes I tell him, oh yeah, I feel you're being, like, I'm saying the negative stuff, no? Oh yeah, I think you're being a little too harsh with me. Like, do you, or let's say we just had a big fight. I'll tell him, like, have you forgiven me fully for this fight? Like, did you really forgive me? And sometimes I tell him, look, I'm still pissed off about this fight we have. So I'm still hurt with you. That's why I'm not treating you 100%.
Right.
So it's all about communication. But the thing that happened with your ex, that he just like shut off on you, I mean, it happened to me too with my ex. Like, it gets to a point where maybe you're like, man, I had enough. And it's literally like this, like someone just turns off the light in the room. And it's something that I can't explain, because it's like once that happened to me, like everything just changed. My perspective changed. I was just done. I'm guessing you're still hurt, but this is a good learning experience for you. So when you go into your next relationship, you just communicate better, in the sense that, oh yeah, are you not feeling love for me? Like, are you feeling a little bit cold toward me? It's all about communication. So, it's hard, it's uncomfortable, but you have to do it.
It's so weird because I can tell you the exact moment he switched off those emotions, and he pretended a lot.
Yeah.
We should have broken up the moment that he turned off those emotions.
I feel like you can't tell.
Keep going.
Yeah, I feel like you can't. I was able to tell with Sebastian. I remember the two times that it happened. Like, I noticed a shift in him, in his attitude toward me, but I dealt with it. Like, I dealt with it head on, and we were able to surpass it.
You have to nip it in the butt right away. If not, it can become a monster.
Yeah.
So, and that's through communication. So, to answer your original question, I know we dropped a lot of good nuggets here, a lot of good advice, but to answer your original questions, do men really feel like women? We feel all the things differently, but we have to be stoic, and we have to learn to have emotional control.
Yeah.
Because we don't get the pass of the sympathy card that, oh, pobrecito, we're deemed as weak, we're deemed as immature if we show too much emotion. So I'm not saying that's good or bad. You guys can make your decision. It is a reality. That's how it's perceived for men.
I need to stop thinking about it.
Stay busy.
It's
The best
hard.
way, the best way to get over any ex, and we'll close with this call here because I see some people on the chat, they want to call in. But the best way to get over your ex is to continually improve on yourself.
Yeah. Focus on yourself.
Focus on yourself. Stay busy. Find new hobbies.
Become a better version of yourself.
And don't isolate yourself. Okay, so that's the best thing we got for you to move on. All right.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Bye.
You got it. Have a good one.
Hello.
Hey, how are you? Good.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes, thanks for calling in. What's up?
I just found you guys today, and I've been actually looking for somebody who's been in a similar situation than me. So I'm looking forward to asking this question. So I have been with my current partner for 5 years now.
Okay.
And year one, my parents gave me an ultimatum. And they said, it's him or us. I didn't really want to play that game. So I was like, okay, time is going to, this person makes me better, not worse.
Yeah.
So over time, I feel like it's, they're going to see that he makes me better. So now it's been 5 years. Waiting has not done anything.
Yeah.
And I've had recent conversations with them, and they're still hard no. The reasons are because they very much value family. My parents have been together for over 30 years. They very much value family. He does not have a put together family. So his family is a little more divided, a little more toxic. It's not something that they would want to be a part of. So they don't want me to marry into that family and kind of absorb into that family. They are very religious, and he loves God.
Which family? His family?
My family.
Oh, your family's
very
very okay.
What religion?
Yes. Christian.
Okay.
And they love God, Team Jesus, everything. And he loves God, but he isn't as religious as I think that he would want them to be. Yeah. And number 3, they just have this bad feeling about it.
Okay.
And they're just like, God is telling us that that it's just a hard no. You know, we're open to it if God wants to give us a sign and let us know that this is fine. He just hasn't. I've been feeling kind of like I've been in a divorced family pretty much the past 4 years of like, even for holidays, like he's not allowed over.
Oh my
They
God.
don't want to see him, like no communication. He's like written them letters and they're like, nope. Like, so there's like hard disapproval.
Yeah.
Okay.
So even for holidays, and I'm very close with my family. Oh, and I'm also 30. So
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
like, you know,
Do you live with
yeah.
them?
No, I do not.
Okay. So
I live by myself.
So the question is basically about parental approval.
You called the right people
Yeah, I mean,
because
it happened.
You hit a lot of a lot of similar points with the faith, with the expectation. So
just to
go ahead, babe.
like Tess and I were Christian. You know, we met at church. I've been Christian all my life. You know, my mom's a pastor in Europe. And Tess was, how long have you been Christian before we, like, maybe
Since
like,
I was like 15.
yeah.
I'm
so
30 now.
We met at 19. So he was like 4 years Christian. And I was like my whole life. So then I met him and my mom was very into the church. You know, she was a minister. She was like part of the leadership and stuff. So there comes Sebas, you know, walking down the hallway.
Up to no good.
And that's what everybody thought, that he was up to no good. Mind you, we were a lot younger. Like the dynamic, I'm going to explain why it's a little bit different too, because I was still in school. I was completely dependent on my mom, my parents financially, you know. So then my mom wanted someone in ministry. She wanted a pastor's kid for me. And you know, she every pastor who had a kid my age, she would be like, oh look, and honestly, I didn't like any of them. Like, I don't know, like sometimes I would even think like there has to be something wrong with me because I don't like any of these pastors' kids. Maybe I'm like the devil or something. I don't know.
And they would give you the word, the
Oh
Bible,
yeah,
the prophetic.
They would tell me, they would give me prophetic words. This guy was meant to be with this person. They would tell me that their parents told me that, God told me that was that the other person was my husband and that Sebas was like the
bad one.
No, but there's like a verse in the Bible.
What is it, the Isaac? Or
yeah, or
what is
something
it?
like that.
Maybe the caller can help us.
I forgot the story, but they would tell me, oh no, he's...
The one that comes before the promise,
Yeah.
the promise one.
Yeah. So I heard it all. At the end of the day, I decided to date Sebas like you know. Sebas was not allowed in my house the whole time we were dating. That's 6 years of us dating. He wasn't allowed in my house. So we would always have to drive to the park, to the movies, to the restaurant, everywhere.
And mind you, we lived an hour
we lived
away.
an hour away. So we would have
check
to
this
meet
out.
halfway.
So sometimes if I wanted to take her out on a special date, check this out. I wasn't allowed in the house, so I had to drive an hour to pick her up, and then I couldn't come in. So I had to meet her downstairs, and then I had to go an hour back, do our activity, go back an hour. So I would spend at least 3 to 4 hours driving just so we can have a special date night.
Yeah. Something that really happened is that during these 5 years, I swear to you, they probably expected me. I'm sorry, I'm gonna say this. I have no problem with any leadership of my church. I like the one we used to go to. I love them. I respect them all. But they probably thought either I was gonna fall into sin,
Get pregnant,
or I was gonna leave church.
Yeah.
You know, but none of that happened. So during those 6 years that I dated Sebas, I was doing great in school. You know, my relationship with him was good. I was good with my family. I was still active in the church, you know. Like, I wasn't really, like, I didn't like to get involved, but I would go all the time and stuff like that. Like, so everything that they thought happened didn't happen. Now, this is where it got a little weird when we were about to get married. Because, it was 6 years, and we're like, okay, let's get married. My mom wasn't happy. O sea, I can tell you that my mom did not say one word in my wedding. Like, I love my mom. God has restored our relationship.
What about the engagement? Before you guys got married?
Like, the engagement.
You asked for permission?
No, I didn't ask for permission because I was already like, I think at that time I was like 26.
You were
know,
grown.
I had graduated. Even like my parents saw that I've been dating this guy for 6 years. I haven't been sleeping with him. We graduated. Like, they knew that we were like on a serious route. You get what I'm saying? I didn't ask for permission. I just let them know. Okay, you know what? We're going to get married. I remember my mom at the engagement, like dinner we had, she was white like a ghost. She was so white, pobrecita. Like she just had this idea of what she wanted from me. And that's not what God wanted for me. I cannot say that the feeling your parents have is right or wrong, because I really don't know how the dynamic of your relationship. But you can't let someone saying, "Oh, I heard from God." No, that's manipulation. You know, what do you feel from God? Have you given good fruit? Are you guys doing things right? You know, that is a stronger. Those are stronger signals than someone telling you, I feel from God this is right or this is not right. So if I can tell you, was my engagement something that I remember my family was happy about? No. Was my wedding something that I remember my family was happy wise? No, not his family either. But once after we got married and they saw how stable we were, both sides, you know, because his parents had some ideas as well, you know. Because in his case, we come from very different economical styles of living. So they thought that maybe me being used to a lot of stuff and Sebas not having to provide for me was going to be a big issue. So their problem with me was even a little bit more rational, you know. She's used to doing this, buying this, and you know, you don't have that. You're just starting your life. You're just starting to work. So they both had their issues. But once we got married and they saw that we were stable, happy, you know, not perfect. We're not perfect, but we were moving forward at a good pace. Everything changed. But it was like after the wedding. So after like what, 6-7 years? Because mind you, they had to see the first year like of marriage. Are they doing okay? Are they not getting divorced? You know, so if you're waiting for your parents' approval, good luck, because it may not happen.
Now let's throw the ball at you, caller. Is there anything that they have legitimate reasons of why they don't like him? Is your relationship right now showing good results and good fruit?
I would say yes. Every area of my life, I feel like, is expanded and blossomed. Like there's a lot of good fruit. Like he really is a man of my dreams. I think the only thing that they have that still eats at me is that we definitely have fallen into sin. We are having sex before marriage. Yeah. And it's something that has, I mean, you know, once the line is crossed, it's really hard to uncross it, especially when you've been together for so long. And so when they say that, you know, my dad feels very disrespected. He's like, this man has, of course, you know, had sex with my daughter.
Was he your first?
You know, before, no, he was not.
Okay. It makes it better.
What?
Like the fact that you were already sexually active before this partner. So dad, in this case, can't really complain too much because she was already active.
No, but you can understand why the parents who are very religious may react.
What I'm trying to figure out is, where are they in the right reason of them not liking your boyfriend? So in this case, it's not really a valid reason because she was already sexually active before him anyway. You can't blame the kid.
They just have this like feeling. They're just like, we know who's right for you, or like we like him as a guy. They think he's wonderful. They think he's amazing. They actually don't see anything wrong with his character. So like, we think he's fabulous. Okay. He's just not for you.
But why?
And so I guess just because of the whole family situation is because they don't feel like he's Christian enough, and just the bad feeling they haven't gotten the green light from God.
She's saying that it's because like his family is not as together stuff.
Ignore that. I mean, you can't blame.
Like, how are your guys' family? Like, do your guys' family get along? Like, I guess my main question is, how important really are the two family dynamics? Is it okay for your families not to like each other?
Yes.
Like, to not hang out?
So here we go. I feel it's important that the family dynamics are very important, you know. But for example, my mom, she's like introverted like me. You know, so it's not like she loves to be at dinner parties. Like she's like more to herself. But there's some occasions where we do have we go out to eat. You know, sometimes in holiday we spend them together. But
they're not the closest.
No, but they're not the closest. What's important is, how is Sebas close to my mom and how am I close to my suegros?
Correct.
That's the important dynamic. Between them, they're just civil with each other, and that's fine.
They don't have to be best friends.
No.
You get what I'm saying? The dynamic is, from both sides, the dynamic is the relationship with you guys, now between the in-laws.
Yeah.
Because who cares? You know, the marriage is between you and him.
I guess my concern is like I don't have support on his side of the family. Like his parents aren't really going to be involved in our lives, really. And then I'm not really going to get support from my parents, even though I'm really close to them now. They're not going to, who knows how long it's going to take them to come around.
So what's going to
happen?
That's what they say.
That's what they say.
But you know what happens,
I don't
girly?
believe it.
Parents have to realize, and they can find this out the hard way. If you do get married to this guy, on both of you guys' family, if they don't choose to support you guys and be with you guys, they're going to end up losing a son and they're going to end up losing a daughter. And I'm sure your dad and your mom do not want to lose a daughter.
No,
so the only way for them to not lose a daughter is for them to gain another son, which is your new husband.
And also when you have kids, I have a lot of friends who had similar situations. Just so you know, in-laws and parents, they're very complicated. They're very complex. If you guys have like parents that they get along really well, and like you're lucky, you're one of the lucky ones. But once a kid comes into the picture, you think that your parents are not going to help you out. Let's see when that baby pops out if they're going to be there or not.
Yeah.
Because trust me, like a kid changes a lot of the dynamic of the family.
No, and the fact that you tell me that you're so close to your parents lets me know that they're not going to want to lose you. Because ultimately, whether they support you or not, you're going to marry and you're going to leave them anyway.
Yeah.
That's how that's like the circle of life. You're going to move on, you're going to marry, you're going to have kids. So all your focus is not going to be on your parents anymore. It's going to be on your family.
Yeah.
So I'm sure, especially since you tell me that you guys are tight, they're not going to want to let you go. I'm telling you from personal experience. I'm also very tight with my family. Obviously, this whole Estes and I's dynamic with our families, it took time for it to be better.
Yeah,
and
like
they're
2
civil
years.
and they're civil with each other. But you better believe that my parents didn't want to lose a son.
Yeah.
And they realized, okay, we're gonna have to navigate this. Maybe I don't have to be best friends, and we don't have to have incredible Christmas parties together.
Yeah.
Right? But you never know. Maybe it can get restored. Maybe that could happen with time. You know, who's not to say that in the future you guys, their families can mix.
And my mom loves Sebas now. Like, oh my gosh, she's obsessed with him. But that took 6 years.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
6
like
years.
I literally like when she comes visit.
Yeah.
Like Espe's there in her room watching TV, and I'm with Espe's mom chit chatting. You know, we're like two little gossip girls. For like 3-4 hours and having coffee.
It took 6 years of dating, and I think it was like 2 years married.
Yeah.
For that to happen. So I mean,
2 years of marriage.
yeah, let's be real. It took around 2 years of us being married for everybody to sit down and be like, okay, these guys they're not breaking up.
Yeah.
You know, or
either we,
anywhere.
like I said, either they're gonna lose you or they're gonna want to make it work.
yes. Do parents' opinions matter? Yes, they matter. Okay, but at the end of the day, you choose who you're gonna end up with. Like, if you feel peace in marrying this guy, he has given you good results, you know, you guys are happy, whatever, then you go for it. And then your parents are going to have to accommodate. And you're already thinking, oh, my kids, I'm not going to have support. No, just don't overthink ahead. Just let it happen. And trust me that once they see their little grandchild, like most grandparents, like they become like bobos with them, you know, they melt of love.
Are you guys gonna get married or what? What's the plan here?
Yeah, we want to get married. We want to get engaged this year. I'm just scared to do it all, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying, because like you've already invested 5 years into this relationship. You know, thanks for calling in. It's a really insightful question. I hope people get the value from it. Again, this is our testimony. You know, I'm not telling you that every scenario is the same. You know, everybody's different. Every relationship is different. So I have to clarify that, because then people say, oh, but he's saying that this is the only way, or no, you know, like obviously this is our testimony and we speak from our experience, what we went through. Okay, so we'll move on to our next caller.
Thank you for sharing your testimony.
You got it. And
Thank
best
you
of
so
luck.
much to
Best
both
of luck,
you.
okay?
Best of luck.
All right, guys, that was a good question.
I know.
That was
Los
a good
suegros
question.
are always an issue.
Yeah, and I think
I ask you, like,
Yeah.
do parents matter? Like, their opinion, you as a guy.
yes, their opinion matters, but it can't dictate the life.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you see what I'm saying? Like,
So I agree.